So when I was in, I don't know how old you are when you're in 6th grade, but that's how old I was. And I fell in, well, the story is that my middle school class had to do a project on an African country, Black History Month. And so the group of us sat down and we all picked a country. Which was really more like kind of colonialism, but still a room full of white people sat and picked an African country that they wanted for themselves, and that's what I did. And the country that I was most drawn to was Madagascar, because Madagascar was the island nation that was separate from the rest of the continent. And I never really liked being a part of the group. I always wanted to be more than what I was. When I was 12 years old, I carried a briefcase because I thought it made me look more adult. I'm in therapy now. And so I picked Madagascar, and I begin to study Madagascar, and actually fall in love with Madagascar. I understand that Madagascar is this lost continent of adaptive radiation and all of these beautiful just examples of evolution, and it's this absolutely magical place. And the one thing that I really root my love of Madagascar in is in lemurs, and lemurs become a fixation of mine for a prolonged period of time. I love lemurs, and I research everything I can about lemurs, and I go deep into lemurs, and I don't even pay attention to Madagascar, although I did, in fact, call Madagascar at one point and spent about $300 on the phone talking to a man named Claude, as he said his name, and he was the guy who swept the floors at the American embassy, and I talked to him for a while, and I don't know what he said because I don't speak French. So, anyway, so I'm researching lemurs instead of Madagascar, and I fall in love with them, and I think they're fascinating, and true to my character, I develop an immediate and passionate and intense, ask the girl, she knows about this, intense passion in it that lasts only a little while. Sorry. And I'm kidding, she's beautiful. An intense passion in lemurs, and I begin to learn everything about them, and I realize that I discover that they're actually endangered, and I think that's awful because they're really magnificent creatures, and there are so many different types of, not species, but subspecies of lemurs, and I think they're great, so I decide I am going to save the lemurs. So I go and I get a little tin can and I put a little piece of paper around it. My mom helped me, she thought it was cute, and I walk around school with a Save the Lemur tin. And I go up to people and I say, save the lemurs, and they say, what's wrong with lemurs? And I said, well, let me tell you. And I go and I tell them all about how lemurs are endangered. So I, believe it or not, end up getting money. And people start giving me 5s, and every once in a while, they give me like 1s or 5s, and then like 10s, because I grew up in an area where people had more money than class, so they were able to go, and like their parents would basically give them money. And I ended up accruing, actually $142 to give to save lemurs. But true to form, my interest in lemurs was more intellectual than it was, I don't know, legitimate. And I wound up looking at the handful of money and then looking at lemurs, this hand, and I pocketed the money. So I essentially stole money from these lemurs of this country that I loved, that I really had I continued to learn about, and lemurs that I really loved, and I basically pocketed the money. And so I had to go back to school, and I had all of these people asking me, like, did you send the money? And I'm like, yeah, I totally stole the money. But really I hadn't, I just pocketed the money. And it was Melanie, I can't use her real name, I'll call her Melanie Darling, that's not her name. She had given me $20. And she gave me $20, and I got it. And she said, this is for the lemurs because you've been talking about them nonstop, so here's $20. And I took them, and I got and this was officially $142. And I have lived with this guilt my entire life. And so, 3 Christmases ago, my ex-girlfriend asked me, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, I want you to get me all the little crap that you get me, but at the same time, I want you to, because it's okay, but I want you to get me, because you could do those kind of like, you know, mail away to like order a kid that you send money to, but I want you to do that for lemurs. And she said, but that's probably a prank, that's probably not real, that's the bullshit you find on the internet. And I said, I don't care. In fact, it's even more accurate. If in fact you give your money to a bogus cause, that is all the more accurate for me. So please do, which she did, and his name is Jojo, which I named him because I'm an idiot, and I have Jojo on my bookshelf, and every once in a while I look at him and discover a whole new reason to hate myself. Ding, thank you very much. You were wonderful. I don't know what she's talking about. Thank you very much.